Welcome, folks. Well, this episode of, it's a bit of an interesting one. This is actually the Halloween replay, from the Transylvania escort mission. And I've got to say that it's a real interesting one and real fun, I'll give it that. Because, well, we'll just sit here and watch and see. And let's see what we get going on. And here we go. Alright. It's gonna be me, Carney, and a few others in another mission. Right now I've got me, Carney, and I believe, if I remember correctly, this was actually Bush Wookiee that was with us. Well, let's just say we've been working on this one all day long, trying to get this mission to play out just the way we wanted to play it out and to actually get it completed. There was actually no exact sporting, I guess you could say, results for the missions. You didn't get experience, you didn't get credits, but you did get a nice, wonderful reward that I will actually bring up and show at the end of this. That was a close shot. At the end of this video. But hey, let's go ahead and get started. And as you can see, this catapult's already firing at me. We've already taken it out. The way this mission kind of played out, if you got a little bit closer to the zones, it played more about kind of like a dungeon than it did a actual battle. You didn't want to exactly have everybody in the circle because the ship didn't move unless you were actually in the circle. Or you at least had somebody in the circle. Even if everybody on your team was alive, until somebody was in the circle, it did not go. Now, I'm gonna butcher this. These Zakasas, and I just about get torped by my own teammate as we were both unloading torps on this other Zakasa over here. Now, these are basically zombie Mikasas, and if you get in secondary gun range of these ships, oh my word, these things will absolutely just tear you apart. And actually ramming into one another is kind of fairly common in here because you'll get hung up on other people's ships and whatnot. As I get a little bit tongue-tied here. Alright, and we're waylaying on. We've already killed the first Zakas over here on the left-hand side. We've already taken out one of the catapults. And we're waylaying on this other one as well. And I was actually wrong. I did not realize that the Zakasa was still alive. Although in the actual match, I was sitting over here about to lay torpedoes into him. And I do believe that's going to be my first kill of the match. But, and right there. Another thing to be noted as well, I don't believe this game mode is still playable at the moment, but one of the things you'll notice is you can see the little mouths on the front of the ships. If you happen to be in a battleship and you could actually land rounds into that mouth, it would actually citadel the ship. Now, if you could get all rounds from the battleship guns into the ship right through that mouth, well, the term "kiss the donkey" comes into play. But as you round this island, it'll bring more ships into the battle as it spawns ships. Because as I said, this plays more like a dungeon than it does an actual battle. You're not seeing every ship available. Not every ship is going to be firing at you as soon as it gets a chance. As we start unloading ammunition on this nice catapult over here, I don't believe it actually opens fire until you actually get a little bit further around the island, but at the same time, these catapults are really actually nice and will take you out. If they get in a direct hit, it will hurt. As you see me just barely miss a shot right here. One of the things that was good about the destroyers was the ability to dodge fire. As you notice me swinging the ship hard to port just to keep getting hit by this catapult up ahead. He fires another round, and I dodged that one as well. But the splash damage got me, as you can see. That being said, these catapults, they will devastate your ships in a heartbeat. And I was actually wrong. It was not the catapult that set me on fire. It was that damn Zakasa right there as I load torpedoes towards him. Now, whether or not this sinks him, that's a whole different matter, because I do believe, if I remember correctly, he got waylaid by another ship on his point-blank range. There's another Zakasa that's already had spawned in and come up on the other, towards my port side as well. Well, not really port side. I'm going balls deep into this wonderful Igor, which is basically nothing more than another. Igor was basically nothing more than a Clemson, whereas the Blaze, if I remember correctly, was nothing more than another, I believe, a Japanese destroyer, but I'm not even going to lie to you and tell you which type it was, because I'm not exactly certain. The battleship, if I remember correctly, was more of kind of along the lines of like a Kaiser, kind of. But I don't remember if you got to keep captains off of these, but one of the things that happened throughout the battles is we were unable to actually skill up the captains. You could pour money into the ships and have your consumables. You could have your upgrades, modules to the ships themselves. Oh, as this destroyer just gets just about deleted. But you could buy your modules and whatnot, but it didn't really do anything for you because, as I said, you gain no credits, you gain no experience from these battles. All it was for was just a kind of an award, kind of a medal. As I'll show you this at the later part of the episode. I'll bring that up right at the end of before we cut this off, but it's pretty. I mean, it's an achievement. Now, one of the things that we tried to do in this battle was, as we were moving up, we tried to make sure that we saved our smokes as the destroyers. Me and my Blaze, Carney, I believe, was in a Igor, and I believe Wookiee was in the other Igor. But the destroyers, if you notice, we kind of played towards each other's strengths, as this nice, wonderful round just screams right over me. Throughout this match, I end up taking rounds from these catapults later in the match, and I'm not paying attention to them at all. And I mean, by the time I start turning the focus to deal with the catapults, the one that's firing at me actually ends up dying already. So that ends up coming into play. This was actually the only replay. Well, this is actually also the last replay I've played of this mission, as we decide to spray paint and see how much paint we can share. This was actually the last replay that I played, that I actually lived. I've never completed this but one time, and to be completely honest with you, it was only really worth completing one time, because without any kind of reward system of getting money or credits or even experience from the battles, it just really didn't do any good. Now, one of the things about this battle was when you're dealing with the catapults was you had to hit these things with AP ammo. Dealing with them on HE ammo just would not kill them fast enough. Now, another thing about it was these ships, the Zakasa ships, if you did not torp them, if you did not hit them in the mouth with AP, it just really didn't do a whole lot of damage to them. And as far as damage dealing, if you're a destroyer, you primarily wanted to hit him with HE, set him on fire, hit him with torps, and do as much damage as you could do, because AP ammo just was not going to cut it at all. As I did a nice wonderful torp right there. I do believe the torp was about midships and Mick Foxtrot went ahead and got the kill, and I just about take a hit right here. Oh man, that was close. I mean, as I was pointing out a minute ago, this was actually, there's the other one coming in. By the time I turned, he was actually destroyed as that one on the just left right there, as I open up on the other catapult, trying to help take them out. Now, the last ship of the battle is actually one of the hardest ships to kill in the battle, but it's also the boss. I mean, as I said, this plays like a dungeon. As you can see, one of this destroyer right here is sitting there laying his smoke, trying to screen the Transylvania so it's not taking any fire, as well as the Igor as well. so that these ships are firing as few ships as possible. I decided to go ahead and run out of the smoke as quickly as I can and just extend his smoke as far as I can. This other destroyer ends up doing about the same thing, so I mean it ends up making a bit of a screen. Now I've shown other replays where me and Carney, who has actually finally renamed his character to actually playing as Honky Tonk, to which I'll actually start declaring as that in later videos. We actually end up playing to the strengths of the destroyers and trying to share the smoke screens to screen as many ships as possible. That being the case, in this battle, as you go forward, you want to keep as many ships on the Transylvania. You want to keep it moving as much as possible, but you don't want to overextend. You don't want to move so fast that you're spawning so many groups that you cannot deal with them, because as these groups are spawning, you want to fire on these ships and take them out as decently as possible and as quickly as possible. But if you move the ship so fast, you'll get these waves all around you, and it gets to the point you're just overrun. And you want to focus fire down ships as quickly as possible, especially towards the end down here. Now, all these ships that you're seeing towards the center of the map that are coming up behind us, if you don't have the Transylvania moving as quickly as possible, those ships will actually catch up. Now, with that being the case, and I do manage to get a torp on that one. I don't know if that's going to be an actual sinking. Let's see. No, he gets taken out. He gets taken out by the other, by the guy in the jackal. I think that was Trinity. Yeah, that was Trinity. Trinity did get killed there. And here's the Rasputan. Rasputan is up point blank with me. I mean, he is setting me on fire. I fire a salvo of torps in him, and my allies have fired salvos of torps in him. You hit him with everything you can. I mean, this ship just will take a pounding and keep going. And it can wreck you in a heartbeat. Now, I don't manage to kill Rasputin, but I do believe that went to Carney. Honky actually ended up getting kill on Rasputin. Now, there was no specific reward for killing just Rasputin, but we did make, I do believe, if by doing that, we do end up getting even the secondary task completed in this mission, which is interesting because that was the first time we completed this mission at all. And, oh, that ship... Enemy Blackbird just deletes that other Zakasa. And we're going to go ahead and wipe this last Zakasa over here on the left-hand flank, and that will actually end this match. And granted, we have a ship following behind and kind of halfway dealing with the ship behind us. But at this point in the match, it's over. We win, and it was a good run. And that's all we have really to show. Now, I'll go ahead and bring up that reward, and I'll show it to you in just a second. Alright, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who happens to see this, as well as to Honky Tonk and Wookie who were in the match with me. That being said, as well, folks, also, if you have any ideas for future gameplay videos, I do play various other games and would greatly like to hear from you for your thoughts and suggestions for any future videos. I have to thank you, and peace out. Here's going to be this medal coming up as well. Remember, folks, if you enjoyed the show, if you will, give me a like and a subscribe, and until next time.